Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us on Morning Markets from True Potential. Today, we'll just look back and reflect on asset market performance yesterday and look at what we can expect from the day ahead. So if we look at equity markets and even to that mind bond markets yesterday, really not a lot of change at the headline levels, and I suppose a large part of that is due to the fact that we are in results season at this point in time, and those factors that are influencing individual sets of results and very company specific are driving subsequent share price, bond price reactions, and that's really what's moving markets at this point in time. I think what we can say over the past couple of days, results have probably been slightly better than expectations. But again, it's a very mixed bag, and it's hard to really generalise at this point in time. Where we did see, I suppose, maybe something more notable yesterday was in currency markets. We've been discussing the ongoing weakness that we've seen in the US dollar, albeit we've got a little bit of spikes at times over the past couple of weeks when it has strengthened. That trend has continued yesterday, and it was really very evident with sterling. So the dollar weakened about 0.2% on a trade-weighted basis yesterday, but sterling strengthened 40 basis points or 0.4% on the day. So strength in sterling being evident there, and that taking sterling above the 137 level to the dollar over the day. So again, that continuation really, as we've seen over recent weeks, of marginal positivity around sterling and sterling strengthening relative to the dollar, but also relative to the euro. Looking at a couple of the data points released yesterday, we had the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, who revised their outlook for 2021 and increasing their forecast for growth marginally from 5.2 to 5.5%. I think just looking within that report itself, there's a few interesting trends to draw out. Really, the world's two largest economies, China and the US, they have continued to revise higher their expectations for growth there. And really, it highlights the differences in terms of how those countries have dealt with the challenges that COVID-19 has put in place. China being very restrictive with its initial measures and then reopening its economy in terms of closing down activity. If we think about the US response, it's been very much about keeping the economy as open as possible and providing fiscal and monetary support to weather the storm that COVID-19 is and continues to create. The other aspect of the report also looks at how quickly economies can potentially return to their pre-pandemic growth levels. With both of the cases of China and the US, they see that as relatively quickly being achieved, i.e. by sort of the end of 2021 into 2022. For other developed markets, there's more of a lag. They see the economy still being smaller than they were pre-pandemic levels. And the biggest impact, most notable impact, is really on emerging economies, where at the end of 2021 into 2022, they still see them being some 8% smaller than they were pre-COVID. So giving you an inference of the disparity in how COVID-19 is impacting different economies and their responses to the challenges that it poses. I think the other point to come on to and really discuss is just the results backdrop. Now, there's lots of results, and it'd be remiss to try and focus in on each of them separately. But I just wanted to touch on Microsoft this morning, just because it's such a large company. It's been an important driver of what's been going on in the S&P 500, and it's got many different drivers at this point in time that speak to the changes in consumer activity, the changes in business activity. And they came out with results that really did surpass the expectations that the market had. Now, we can discuss whether the market's expectations are right or wrong, but really the company deliver 17% year-on-year earnings growth or revenue growth, I should say, for the fourth quarter of 20, and that translated into very strong earnings growth of some 30% year on year, and that was well ahead of expectations. It does highlight the challenges of trying to forecast results, but really it speaks to some of those trends that the business is exposed to, be that cloud computing, be it the use of Teams, etc., be it the gaming business that it has, and actually the core PC business in terms of the operating software there actually did well as well over the course of the quarter. One of the things that the CEO did discuss in the results, and I just want to read this out because I think it really neatly encapsulates the changes that we're potentially seeing as a result of COVID-19. And he says, what we have witnessed over the past year is the dawn of a second wave of digital transformation sweeping every company and every industry. And that just, I think, neatly summarises what COVID-19 has potentially started and maybe brought forward that digital transition that would have been taking maybe a number of years, 10, 15 years. It's maybe brought that window shorter in terms of the adoption of some of these digital trends that we're all aware of and would have adopted, but maybe that's become faster as a result. So that's again something that we can continue to reflect on and think about as we hear other companies report as well. Just looking to the day ahead, we have a day that probably will remain focused on corporate results, and that will drive how equity markets, bond markets will perform. I think the other thing that we'll be looking out for, and market participants will be looking out for, is the Federal Reserve. Their meeting will conclude today. We'll get the statement. It's probably not that people are interested in. It's much more about the press conference and how the Fed and Jerome Powell discuss the discussions they had, but also their outlook for the future. We don't expect them to make any change to policy or to their quantitative easing programme at this point in time. I'll leave it there at the moment. Please do join us again tomorrow. Many thanks.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to the True Potential YouTube channel. If you have any questions or requests for future videos, let us know in the comments.